Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Parkinson Association of Alberta Annual General Meeting. Our general meeting is the time when the directors that you elect report back to you on how we've helped to direct our association during the past year. Our board is entrusted to help our association meet its goals, identify and manage risks, and to provide policy guidance to our association and to our CEO. Before we start, we just have a few safety briefings. One is we don't expect any emergencies, but if there was one, the exit is just here to the right and straight outside. The other two emergencies are that both washrooms, men's and ladies, are locked. And the men's code, if you should need it, is 3265, and the ladies' code is 2154. I'm Martin Kratz, board chair. I'm delighted to be with so many members and so many of our board members. We'll get an opportunity to introduce all our board members once we're into the program. We just start off with some informal comments that I make and that Lana will make as greetings, and then we'll get into the formal part of our meeting. 2019-2020 was a year of considerable change for our association. Our CEO was on leave for a considerable period, during which Lana Tordoff was acting CEO and kept our association focused during that period. Our former CEO didn't return and took another opportunity. Acting CEO Lana Tordoff didn't maintain our services and our programs through that time. And then the COVID-19 pandemic hit our association, and our ability to offer services in person were affected as we complied with health authorities' requirements. We had to reconsider all of our activities, and we refocused our basic programs and services, always inspired by our strategic plan. Lana Tordoff managed our association very well and refreshed many relationships that we have with key stakeholders. She was also very proactive as we transitioned to provision of continued client services during the COVID restrictions. Our board consulted on the prospects of recruiting a new CEO. We surveyed many options, and the board noted, after reviewing a number of options, that Lana had ably managed our association through two difficult transitions, and we offered to confirm her role as Chief Executive Officer. Happily, Lana agreed. In compliance with our health authorities' instructions, we had to postpone our annual general meeting, which had been scheduled for May. So we started our recruiting process early in the spring, and then we had to postpone it. We did get provincial authority to allow us to postpone the meeting till now. And as you can see, we're complying with the social distancing and other requirements. During the past year, our board committees have been very active. I'll just give you a flavor. Our governance committee, led by Jamie Gordon, who's here with us, has refreshed the terms of reference for all board committees and worked to update our bylaws so that we propose to have more flexibility to meet virtually in the event of a continuation of the pandemic or other event that disrupts our members' meetings. Our finance committee, led by Dan Tost, who regrettably can't be here, has worked closely with management to maintain our ability to manage our expenses and adapt our operations to maintain sustainable services. Our research committee, led by Dr. Oksana Chakowski, who is with us, has worked to continue previous research funding and work with management on a refreshed approach to funding research. Our human resources committee, led by Stephen Rex, who is with us, has been very busy as they work through internal HR policies as we addressed our former CEO's leave and ultimate departure. And this committee managed through the succession plan, worked with our CEO recruitment process, and our human resources committee is also our nominating committee. And so that committee was very active in promoting nominations for our board. The committee interviewed 19 candidates and worked hard to present the candidates that you will meet later today. We were very encouraged with the number of highly qualified candidates that wish to volunteer for our association and to assist us advance our cause. Your board is very engaged to support our association's work and to adapt to the current world and prepare for the needs of the growing number of Parkinson's clients. In late 2018, our board and senior staff met and we developed a strategic plan that we refreshed. In early 2019, we met with stakeholders, we got their feedback on that direction, and then we blended and synthesized all that material to develop a strategic plan which we approved in early 2019. We identified 5 priorities. The first is to enhance the quality of life for people affected by Parkinson's disease and Parkinson Plus. This objective is about the present and the future. This is our key role. This is why we exist. Our objective is to increase the number of clients served with current and enhanced programs and to enhance alternatives for additional regional client services. With predictions that as the population ages, the number of people diagnosed with Parkinson's disease will double to about 20,000 in Alberta by 2031. Our association must grow to be able to have the capacity to serve that demand. Our second goal is to increase advocacy and awareness. We want to increase the effectiveness and currency of our website, our other communications, and to collaborate and partner with like-minded organizations and to expand our association's reputation and profile and influence. Our third priority is to increase our resources, both human resources and financial resources. Our people are our most important asset, and our objective is to reduce the turnover among staff and volunteers, to maintain a focus that our staff and volunteers are valued, know they're valued by our association for the important work they do, and that we remove all obstacles or distractions that prevent them from knowing that. We also need to refocus our fund development activities in a COVID world. Our objective is to continue to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of our fund development activities so we have the necessary resources to continue our work and prepare for the growth needed to handle future needs. The fourth objective is to continue to be a leader, to increase membership and to find new ways to engage with our members. Our objective is to continue to work with key stakeholders in leadership roles, such as the key universities, the Alberta Neural Network, Alberta Health Services, and other Parkinson's organizations in other jurisdictions or regions to share best practices. Our fifth goal is focused on research. Research is about hope and the future. It's both about finding a cause and ultimately a cure for Parkinson's disease, but importantly, to help develop the capacity of Alberta-based researchers to be more engaged with Parkinson's diseases and to increase the capacity in our province to support the medical profession and skilled researchers focused on Parkinson's diseases. Our objective is to continue to grow our association's fund development tied to research, to continue to invest those funds in Alberta so that we can help our province grow economically and we can continue to develop and maintain that research capacity. Those objectives seek to build a strong foundation for continued growth of our association. The world in the last number of years has been difficult in Alberta. Alberta has been in a deep and profound economic slump for a number of years. The energy industry has struggled as commodity prices crashed during a price war, and COVID-19 has stopped normal business. These external shocks have had a profound impact on Albertans, our ability to secure sponsorships and donors, and therefore our ability to fund the essential services that we provide to our clients. It's also impacted the people we serve, and we see some people retreat, which is a fear for Parkinson's patients. We don't want them to retreat. We need them to reach out so that they don't draw back into themselves. With all of these factors, the board is looking at working with management, refocusing our strategy in these new circumstances so we're better able to carry out our cause. Our staff and management, including our CEO, have been proactive during this difficult time in order to maintain key services. Our association has had to run deficits for a number of years and in order to maintain services. And we've taken steps to ensure that our operations will be sustainable over the long term. We thank our members, our clients, our donors, our sponsors, our volunteers, all our staff in all the areas, and our senior management, especially Lana Tordoff, our CEO, for their work during this year that's led to numerous successes. The board is working to help support our CEO and our staff and volunteers in achieving our strategic goals. We're working to improve the effectiveness and functioning of our committees, to help the board work with the CEO on the pain points that in both client services and fund development or otherwise that she identifies. We're optimistic going into the new year that we will make measurable progress on our strategic goals. I call on Lana Tordoff, our CEO, to share some welcoming remarks as we begin our AGM.
I don't know where to look. Thank you so much for your kind words, Martin. You've been an exceptional mentor to me, and we're fortunate to have you as our board chair. The board has been patient, supportive, encouraging, and I'm pretty grateful. I echo your expression of thanks to our departing board members. I'm also looking forward to continuing to learn from and work with our returning and new board members as we work towards a more sustainable and impactful model of support for Parkinson community in Alberta. I started with Parkinson Association, whether in person or virtually. Thank you for joining us this evening. I know it's not convenient necessarily, and we appreciate it. I started with the Parkinson Association in September of last year and was coming from primarily child and youth focused charities. So I wasn't entirely sure what to expect. I was able to volunteer at both the Edmonton Step and Stride and golf tournament and had the opportunity to meet many of our members, their families, and some of our community supporters. So my first day was a Tuesday, and while I was getting oriented with the Buchanan Center, a circuit training class was underway. Laying on the floor doing some stretching was a longtime colleague of my dad's, Frank. They worked together for nearly 30 years at the RCMP Forensic Lab, and there are many stories of their mischief during their curling and ball playing years. Coincidentally, Frank also volunteered at the Edmonton Public Library for the book sales my daughter ran, and it turns out the antics continued long after Frank's retirement. Frank and his fellow circuit goers every Tuesday and Thursday religiously, still now virtual, became an example to me of the resilience and motivation in the face of Parkinson's as they chased us down the hallways or up and down the stairs. But I quickly learned that they are in the early stages of their disease, and their hard work and commitment is what will keep them living well longer, and that's our goal. Regardless of where people are in their Parkinson journey, we want to make sure they have people to turn to that can provide help today and hope for tomorrow. 2019 was a year of internal examination with an eye on refocusing our attention on our mission to provide support province-wide to Albertans affected by Parkinson's disease, patients, family, friends, caregivers, and healthcare professionals. Additional focus was given to ensuring our talented Parkinson's researchers have the opportunity to focus their undertakings in Alberta. Despite the financial challenges of the organization, we saw an increase in individuals served through a variety of educational, emotional, and active support opportunities of 10%, 9,239 individuals. We welcomed 466 new clients, an increase of 16%. The most significant and meaningful increase, though, was the hours our team invested in one-on-one and family support. 458 hours reflects a 110% increase over 2018. $220,000 was invested in funding to 7 talented researchers in Edmonton and Calgary, thanks to the investment of our Champions of Hope members. A special thanks goes out to the Hine Financial Group, Asante Wealth Management, and Kevin Hine, who were instrumental in raising funds to support the efforts of the team at the Hotchkiss Brain Institute in 2020. With the arrival of COVID-19, Parkinson Association of Alberta, like most of the world, had to adjust and reimagine programming. This has given us the opportunity to think about what comes next for the organization and to learn from our experiences to continually improve our ability to connect with people across the province, regardless where our staff are situated. Just a small snapshot of what we've been up to since we shut our doors on March 16th. Motivational Mondays. These are free virtual exercise classes led by professional trainers across the province. Webinar Wednesdays, bringing practical and motivational education to people in their homes. Freestyle Fridays, singing, relaxation classes, art, and more are keeping participants engaged and active. virtual support groups, one-to-one and family support, over 2,000 check-in calls, meeting groups in parks on nice summer days to safely socialize, Zoom tutorials, grocery and prescription pickups. In other words, the team's been busy. The 8th annual Step and Stride went virtual, and it was a bumpy road. Martin can attest to that. We're accepting donations through to the middle of October, but we are currently sitting at just over $240,000 with both sponsorships and individual and group donations. Congratulations to Calgary's own Striders, who out-fundraised the rest of the pack, bringing in over $39,000 alone. While one would expect costs associated with the virtual event to be reduced, it's with some excitement that we can share that nearly 96% of the funds raised through this year's event will go directly to the work of the organization, just over 4% expenses. In comparison, the cost to deliver 2019 event was over 35%. As Martin mentioned, we've also been able to renew longstanding relationships and build new ones with like-minded organizations and groups. Through the hard work of both boards of Parkinson Association of Alberta and Parkinson Canada, we have a new cooperative working relationship that will return focus to the support of individuals with Parkinson's. New relationships have developed with the Davis Phinney Foundation, Brain Canada, the PD Avengers, and World Parkinson Coalition, several of whom will partner with us to deliver a virtual conference in November that will be brought to them free as a result of donations to the Brain Canada. We're just scratching the surfaces. I'm learning quickly that there are a lot of organizations in Canada, in North America, and in the world that focus on Parkinson's disease. And I think there's a way that we can all work together. We are grateful for the ongoing friendship and commitment of our clients, families, colleagues, and stakeholders for standing with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Lana. So I'll now call the meeting to order. This is the annual general meeting of members of Parkinson Association of Alberta. I'm Martin Kratz, chair of the board. Surat Maharaj, who's on the call, director of the Parkinson Association of Alberta, will act as the scrutineer. The notice calling this meeting, the 2019 audited financial statements, were sent to each member, and the annual report is posted on the website for all members, and a copy was provided to each board member in accordance with our bylaws. In order to maintain the pace of the meeting, we've arranged for some members to make some comment resolutions. I direct that a copy of the notice be kept by the recording secretary with the records of the meeting.
The recording secretary will.
Thank you. Quorum for Parkinson Association of Alberta annual general meeting is 25 members present or represented by proxy. Surat Maharaj, do we have a quorum of members present?
Yes, we have a quorum of members.
Thank you, Surat. Your green voting cards are in your AGM packages for the Parkinson Association of Alberta members who purchased a 2020 membership 30 days in advance of the meeting. Use those when we vote, or just wave so that we can see you on Zoom. Notice having been properly given and a quorum of members being present, I declare this annual general meeting to be duly constituted for the transaction of business. The business to be conducted at today's meeting is the ordinary annual business meeting, which Parkinson's Association of Alberta is required under its governing legislation to conduct, as well as a special resolution involving amendment of our bylaws, details of which have been given in the notice of meeting sent to all members of the association. I now submit for your approval the agenda for the September 28th, 2020 annual general meeting of the members of the Parkinson Association. Are there any additions to the agenda?
I'll move that the agenda of September 28th, 2020 annual general meeting of the members be approved as presented.
Thank you, Doug. A seconder for that motion? Thank you, Oksana. Is there any discussion from the floor? I'll call the question. Will those voting in favor of the motion signify by raising your green card or raise your hand? Contrary minded, if any? The motion is carried. I now submit for your approval the minutes of the last meeting of the members of the Parkinson Association of Alberta held on Saturday, May 25th, 2019. These minutes are in your members package. Unless members desire that these minutes be read, I suggest the reading of them be dispensed with.
Martin, I'll move that the minutes of the meeting of the members of the Parkinson's Association of Alberta held on May 25th, 2019 be taken as presented.
Thank you, Doug. Seconder for that motion? Jamie? Is there any discussion from the floor? Any errors or omissions? Not hearing any. Will those in favor of the resolution signify by raising the green card or raise your hand? Contrary, if any? I declare the resolution to be carried. At this time, I'd like to ask Lana Tordoff, CEO of Parkinson Association of Alberta, to present the Treasurer's Report for the year ended December 31st, 2019, as unfortunately Dan Toes, who's the Treasurer, is absent from today's meeting.
The 2019 Auditor's Report and audited financial statements and annual report have been posted on Parkinson Association of Alberta's website. And I'm missing a page.
Doug is going to,
Nope. Just,
that's your report. So Doug?
Sorry. I move that the members accept and approve the 2019 Auditor's Report and audited financial statements as presented.
A seconder for that motion? Oksana? Thank you very much, Oksana. So did you want to go further
no, that's
through?
okay. It's turns out it's not on this copy, so we'll
Okay.
carry on.
Any discussion from the floor? Again, the full audited financials are in the notice provided to each member. Any discussion? If not, those in favor, please signify by raising your green card or waving. Contrary, if anyone, I declare the resolution to be carried. The next item of business is the appointment of our auditors.
And I move that Jaworski, Graham, and Havilat be appointed auditors of Parkinson's Association of Alberta to hold office until the next annual general meeting or until their successors be appointed, and that the board of directors be authorized to fix the auditor's remuneration.
Seconder for that motion? Jamie? Thank you, Jamie. Is there any discussion from the floor? Will those in favor of the resolution please signify by raising your green card or waving? All in favor? Any contrary minded? I declare the resolution to be carried and declare Shakowski, Graham, and Hannevelt Chartered Accountants duly appointed auditors. At this time, I'd like to present the next item of business, which is the approval by the members of the past acts of the Board of Directors and officers of the Parkinson's Association of Alberta.
I move that the members approve and ratify the past acts of the Board of Directors and officers of the Parkinson's Association of Alberta.
Seconder for that motion? Thank you, Jamie. Any discussion from the floor? I'll call the question. Will those in favor of the resolution?
Sorry, there's a question here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm very, very new at this, but could you explain to me what past acts are?
Yes. Your directors and officers are all volunteers, and this is a protective motion for the work that they've done during the year. So the members are saying we're happy with what the directors have done and the officers have done over the year. So it's preventing a case of going back 2 years and the members then suing the volunteer directors who are incidentally indemnified by the association for
Thank you.
acting as volunteers. Any other questions? So if you're in favor of the motion, please raise the green cards. Contrary minded, if any, the motion is carried. We have special business. The next item of business is consideration of updating our bylaws with the amended bylaws proposed and made available in your package. I ask Mr. Jamie Gordon, Chair of our Association's Governance Committee, to describe the key changes. We do know that there are a few little typographical notes, and you'll see that the motion that we're looking for does address those.
Thanks, Martin. Thanks, everybody. So as Martin mentioned at the beginning, the Governance Committee spent a number of months during the year reviewing the governing legislation, the terms of reference of the various committees, and the current bylaws. And during that period of time, we went back to the board members and sought input on key policy questions and have proposed some updated bylaws which are in your pack today and also on the link. The board has reviewed and approved these bylaws that are for consideration by the members here today. Some of the changes we've proposed include allowing the member meetings, AGMs, other types of meetings to be held electronically, so that in the event of this continued pandemic or other unforeseen circumstances, the association would be able to hold a meeting virtually. We've also included the possibility of adding a corporate secretarial role, which is a common officer position and will free up the board chair to do other work for the association. We have sought to harmonise various words and terms throughout the bylaws. For example, boards of directors, the board, and ensure that there's consistent use of terms throughout. And we have also proposed changes to allow more flexibility in the recruitment of directors so that we can adapt to the evolving needs of the association. As Martin mentioned, the proposed bylaws and a summary of those changes are posted on the website and with the link for the call-in for today's meeting.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm seeking a motion to approve the adoption of the updated bylaws, following which we can have a discussion during which the questions on the proposed bylaws can be asked of Mr. Gordon, Chair of our Association's Governance Committee.
I'll second the motion.
We didn't get the motion yet, Surat, but thank you.
I'll second. Oh, sorry, I thought you heard.
I move as a special resolution that the association adopt the updated bylaws as discussed at this meeting and as made available to all members to replace in their entirety our current bylaws. The motion includes the authority of the board chair and or vice chair to make typographic or non-substantive edits as required by Alberta Corporate Services.
Surat.
Second the motion again.
And I appreciate the enthusiasm of our board members.
I'm ready to roll.
Are there any questions on the motion, the change to the bylaws? Not hearing any, I'll call the question. Would those in favor of the special resolution signify by raising your green card or raise your hand or wave? Contrary, if any? I declare the special resolution to be carried. Thank you very much, Jamie. At this time, I'd like to present the next item of business, which is the election of the Board of Directors of Parkinson's Association of Alberta. I'd like to take a moment to ask those existing board members who are present to wave as I call out their names so you know who they are. Present in person, Mr. Jamie Gordon, who you've seen, Mr. Stephen Rex, myself, Martin Kratz. Present online, Surat Maharaj, Grant Kozak, Christine Keeler. I'm not sure if Sign Chatty is present. Doug Critchley, who is our past chair, and he was the hardworking fellow making all the motions earlier. And also present is Dr. Oksana Chakowski, who leads our research committee. And Derek Weisbeck is online. And two of our board members aren't present, and they regret their attendance due to other commitments, Dan Toes and Ken Papp. Under our bylaws, directors are elected for 2-year terms. As a result, Doug Critchley, Surat Maharaj, Christine Keeler, Grant Kozak, Stephen Rex, Derek Weisbeck, and Sign Chatty do not stand for election today, as they're within a current term. I want to thank Stephen Rex and Doug Critchley, both directors, for their hard work and guidance in the assistance and work of the nominating committee. As a member of that committee, it's my pleasure to advise you that we have a slate of 18 directors who represent our members to present for your approval today. They bring a high level of expertise and not-for-profit experience to your new board, and most importantly, a passionate commitment to the Parkinson cause. The slate was presented in the notice of meeting, has been reviewed and recommended by the nominating committee and accepted by the board of directors. I'd like a moment to present the board members and other candidates who are present. So I'll have them wave as I call out their names so you know who they are. Incumbent directors who are being presented for re-election: Jamie Gordon, Martin Kratz, Dr. Oksana Chakowski. New directors, their bios were in the package that was sent to all members. Mr. Hanif Fazil, who is waving in the Zoom call in Edmonton. Dr. Cara Ferreira, Mr. Ken Gordon, Mr. Reg Miley, Ms. Pam Strauss. So a very talented group. And Doug, that puts you on the spot again.
Darn mute buttons, Martin. I move that we, the members of the Parkinson's Association of Alberta, approve the directors as presented by the nominating committee as listed in the notice of meeting, and that these individuals be duly elected directors of Parkinson's Association of Alberta to hold a term of 2 years or such earlier time that their successors are duly elected, and that the members waive the requirement of bylaw 6.2 to permit Dr. Sanowski to serve another term as chair of the research committee, and of bylaw 6.2 so that she can serve a continued term on the board.
Any discussion from the floor?
Mark,
Yes,
how many board members do we have now?
we will have 15.
Sorry, 15, not 17. I heard 17.
No, 15.
15.
Right. Actually, Martin, I think you mentioned 18 when you were reading earlier.
Oh, my mistake.
Yeah.
We have 15. And so
Okay.
with this election, we have 5 vacancies. We have 3 incumbents running. And so 3 incumbents plus 5 new directors. I apologize.
Sign Chatty is,
He's a representative of the Diane and Gordon Buchanan Foundation. Under our bylaws, they're entitled to appoint a representative.
right.
So all directors are in a 2-year term. He was elected last year, so he's in a current term. So he's not up for election.
Sorry, no, Mark, just a clarification. So is he a 16th person?
No,
or
he's a
is he
15th person. He's a 15th person.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion from the floor? Will those in favor of the resolution signify by raising the green card or wave your hand? Contrary minded, if any? I declare the resolution to be carried. I want to thank those volunteer directors whose term expired prior to or at this annual general meeting, namely Dr. Zahir Lakhani, Mr. Ken Papp, Mr. Darren Schlafreck, Ms. Janice Callahoo, and Mr. Dan Toes. These directors have served our association as volunteers for many years. Each of them has made important contributions to allow our association to better serve our cause. I kindly request applause for the service of our departing directors and to welcome our incoming board members. Thank you. Next item of business is any old business arising from the minutes. Is there any old business arising from the minutes? Not hearing any. The next item of business is new business. Is there any new business for the meeting? Not hearing any. May I have a motion for the adjournment of the meeting? Anybody? Oksana? She moves that the meeting be adjourned. Seconder for that motion? Thank you, Jamie. Those in favor signify by raising the green card or raise your hand. Contrary minded, if any? The motion is carried. So we are adjourned. If people have any, this ends the formal part of the meeting. If people have any other questions of the board, we're open to have some questions for a period of time, following which we'll have an organizational board meeting to get our board organized. Any questions? Any questions on the call? Thank you very much for attending here and helping our association to advance our important work through this annual general meeting. Have a good evening, everyone. And for the board members who are joining us virtually or in person, we can just go across to our office and set up there. And you can leave your green cards.
I can take them.
So we can reuse them.
End the meeting.